There is a moment in every life when you decide to rise, to stand taller than your fear, to speak louder than your doubt, to chase the vision that sets your soul on fire. This is that moment. And here, we walk it together with stories that awaken, voices that inspire, and truths that set you free. This is Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where hope has a voice, and that voice is yours. And welcome, everybody, to Positive Talk. My name is Kevin McDonald, and Brichelle is right there. And hey, Brichelle, how you doing?
Hey,
Let me put it another way. Are you surviving?
I'm surviving. Better than that, I'm living. I'm still living, and it's a great way to start off the week because we've got a show that, unfortunately, I think, Kevin, every single person on this earth goes through something traumatizing in their life and finds way that they need to work through it because they realize it kind of affects them.
That is so true. I have interviewed over 3,000 people in my career, and I don't know that I've ever interviewed somebody that said, "Oh no, trauma? I haven't had any of that. I've been practically perfect in every way." And I haven't interviewed Mary Poppins, so that's maybe why. But it is a issue that affects all of us. It affects our lives. It affects what we do. It affects who we are and how we are treated by others and how we treat others in many ways. And so our guest today is the world famous author. Her name is Amy McKiernan. And Amy, how are you? It's such a pleasure to have you on the show.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here. I'm doing well. You just called me a world famous author, so that really boosted me up because I don't know that that's true, but I appreciate the sentiment.
Yeah, you haven't finished the show yet, and then we shall see, because you're going to be a world famous after this show. I can tell you that right now.
Got it.
And we are excited about having you here because you have got a remarkable story, and I want to thank you before we even begin for writing a book about the subject matter that you did and the 8 ways that you are going to put forward to help people deal with trauma, sexual or otherwise. And I want to thank you for putting yourself out there. Before you wrote the book, did you think to yourself, do I really want to put myself out there?
Oh, of course. It took a long time to get there, to actually write the book, something I went back and forth with for a long time. And then, it's like life just kept giving me these experiences and these moments where I was really seeing that sharing my voice and my story was so powerful to other people, and helping others feel less alone, and helping others see and understand that they too could deeply heal and overcome their experiences and not let their trauma completely define them and completely run the narrative, right? Like take their lives back was so powerful to me. And, it's like as life went on and I kept having these moments of touching someone's life just with my story, just by sharing it, that's when I was finally like, you know what? I am going to write this book. Like I'm going to do it. It still took me 6 years to write, but, yeah, I definitely, it was a process making the decision and then a process following through with the decision for sure.
And Brichelle, I'm going to have you ask some questions and talk to Amy first, just in case you disappear suddenly.
Yes. Well, Amy, I'd love to know, was there a moment or a situation that happened that sparked you deciding that you were going to use your story to empower the world in a positive way?
Yeah. So, there were a couple that I'll share.
Okay.
One moment, the first moment that I experienced, that really, I believe, planted a seed inside that took a long time to bloom, but it was there. And when I was 15, my dad, this was shortly after my first experience with rape. And my dad had brought me to see a woman speak about her experiences. Her name was Katie. And I was very much in it, very, very, shut down, very much a shell. But he brought me to see this woman, and she was on stage and she was sharing her story and sharing about, how, and it was so powerful, like how powerful and how far she had come. And that moment, even though at 15, it wasn't like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to, totally heal and help others one day, but it was inspiring, and my dad told me, he would say, that could be you one day. You could help others one day, just like she did. And so that moment really stuck with me. However, I never really thought that I would get there. And I still had quite the journey after that moment. And then once adulthood hit, I had this other experience where I went on my dad's, at the time, radio program in 2014. And we did a episode called What Do You Do When Life Gets Broken? And we talked as a family about my first experience with rape as a family and how we navigated it. And I remember vividly that this woman called in. She was listening live from the Philippines. And she called in and she was so just touched and emotional and empowered and grateful and thanked me for my courage. And just, it really impacted her. The fact that I was voicing my story. And so after that, I was very much like, yes, I'm going to do this one day. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I am going to write a book. Now, that was in 2014. Then I didn't actually start writing it until 2019. But again, it was 2019, 2020, COVID hit. There was a lot happening in the world. And one of the forefronts of our family's experience at that time was mental health and connection and healing. And it really lit this fire under me to revisit this book idea, revisit this helping others and giving a voice to pain and hurt, and not only surviving that pain and hurt, but truly overcoming it. And that's when I really started the journey with writing. And then, of course, it was a whole process and a lot of revisiting and a lot of I completely avoided that whole piece. And, and so, but yeah, I think there were definitely a few different moments in my life that really stick out to me that planted that seed of, yes, your voice matters. And yes, you can help people.
It's amazing. Thank God, because you wrote the book. You actually did it. So congratulations after all this time. And I love that you can see those experiences as a necessity, because along the journey, they got you to where you needed to be. And it was all at the right timing. If you're wondering what we're talking about, people, go to her website, Amy
McKiernan.
Do this one.
Amy McKiernan.
AmyMcKiernan.com. And she has her book, More Than a Survivor, 8 Keys to Overcoming Sexual Assault and Finding a Path to Living a Fulfilled Life. So again, congratulations for finally writing that book. I could imagine that once it was out, did you feel free, or was it more scary than when you started writing the book?
Oh, that's a good question. It was freeing. It was powerful. It was like this final piece of something that I had been thinking about and dreaming about for so long. And then I remember getting my first copy and just holding it in my hand and being like, this is it. I'm doing this. And I may, I self-published. So I may only impact a couple people, but that's amazing. Those couple people need it, and I'm happy to be there to support them.
And I want to share this with you, that you've gotten a book and it's out there now, which means that in a year or 6 months or 5 years, somebody's going to find that book in a library or maybe a used bookstore, or maybe it'll be on somebody's shelf in their house that have already read it. And it's going to mean something to them. They're going to pick it up and they're going to read it, and you're going to change somebody's life. And the sad thing is, you'll never know who they are, probably. And you know what? None of that matters.
Right.
Because what you're doing is you're doing good for everything. And I wanted to bring this up. I don't know that I've ever said, you brought this up, and I don't know that I've ever mentioned this. And that is, when you were suffering and you went through that, I'm a father. I have two sons. I did not get to have a beautiful young daughter like you are. And I can only imagine how much residual pain when he found out what you had gone through, what he had to deal with, as well as everybody in your circle that knew about that. So the ripple effect and the pain that it caused was significant. I can only say that I would love my daughter so much that I'm pretty sure that somebody would pay, and in a really big way. And so, I'm sure. And your dad had a radio show too.
He did. Yeah. He has a podcast now. So yeah.
Oh, very good. Have you been on his podcast yet?
I have not. That is the plan. I will do another episode with him at some point.
Oh, very good. And I can only imagine how difficult that was for your entire family.
Oh, I'm actually, glad you bring that up, because that's another really important piece that often gets lost, right? Because when we're in our own really painful journeys, it's so consuming, and not at any fault of our own, but it's very hard to see the pain and the journeys that everybody else is going through too, right? It's all intertwined. And often we feel like we're a burden and we're a problem and it's shameful, instead of seeing it for what it really is, like a journey together. And so in my book, I actually also share the perspectives of my dad and my sister, two of the people from my support system. I had a very good support system: my dad, my mom, my sister, my brother. And they have segments where they give their perspective of the moments that I'm talking about. And it makes it so that it's a really powerful book for not only the survivor, but also allies, also people who are supporting those who have gone through these experiences, because you really get all the different perspectives happening and all the different pain. I mean, they were going through their own trauma. I'm a mother of two. I can't imagine what my parents and my siblings felt in those moments. I honestly cannot. And it was their own trauma, their own pain. And it was about, navigating through this thing together, figuring it out together, because nobody had the answers. It's not like they were like, oh, this is in the parenting handbook, chapter 15. Let's just X, Y, and Z. Like, that's not how life works. We all know that, right? And so,
wouldn't that be handy?
Right. Well, that would be great. But that's not how it goes. And so they were hit with this huge life-changing thing and a very tumultuous journey with me as their teenager, because then I went downhill. It was all about numbing the pain. I was no longer who I was before. And it's like I lost my light, and I was doing drugs and I was drinking and I was getting myself into really bad situations. And it came with more abuse and more really painful experiences. And they didn't even know if I was going to make it out alive. They really didn't. And it was all about them as parents needing to just take it one step at a time understand that they might not have control of how this ends, but they are going to fight their hardest to make sure I get the support I need, to figure it out with me, beside me, be a support. And that's what a support system is, and that's why I wanted to include that, because I think that people who are supporting those who go through trauma, often they're so lost because they don't have the answer. It's like they can't fix it for them. So they might not know how to navigate that. They might not know how to be that support. And so they might back off a little bit. And the point isn't to have all the answers. The point is to walk the journey side by side and figure it out together. So that's a really special perspective that I also share in the book.
Which is huge, because there are lots of people, sadly, who do not have a good support system. But I'm here to tell you, and Brachelle's going to tell you again, your book will be that support system to a lot of people who don't have it. Brachelle, how can they find the book and all that kind of stuff? And then we're going to talk to Samuel.
Yes. Go to amymckiernan.com. You can find the book there, Amazon, and all the other places. More Than a Survivor, 8 Keys to Overcoming Sexual Assault and Finding a Path to Living a Fulfilled Life. So go check it out and find it for yourself. And before we take our first break, Kyberia Restoring Hope Center says, hello. Hey, everyone. They say Brother Kevin, Sister Brachelle, and guest Madam Amy McKiernan receive warmest greetings from Kyberia Restoring Hope Center, based in the slums of Nairobi, Kenya. This is our favorite program, Positive Talk Radio show, right now watching live with my team. It's inspirational program which sharpens us from different coaches, speakers, authors. Keep it up, hosts Kevin and Brachelle. We are proud of you, as are we. Are proud of you guys. Thank you for highlighting our feeding program to the world. Together we are strong. I don't even have to see the end of that, because I already know what you guys say. I have been saying that. So we love you. Thank you for joining us in, and stay tuned with your team. I think that we could provide a lot of knowledge here through Amy and her story and her book to help out with you all, your team, and also the kids. So stay tuned.
And I'm not sure, Amy, if meditation is part of the 8 ideas and thoughts you have for healing, but listen to this, and this is one of our other guests. Most people live their lives trying to escape tension. Rudra meditation teaches you how to use it. In Rudra meditation, Stuart Perrin shares over 40 years of lived practice. Not theory, not philosophy. He shares a non-denominational meditation practice that transforms emotional, mental, and physical pressure into clarity, joy, and love. This meditation isn't monastic, sequestered, or a means of hiding from life. It's a craft one learns that helps embrace day-to-day reality. It enables us to be responsible, to deal with loss, to master internal chaos. If tension runs your life, this book shows how to meet it and change it from the inside. Get a copy today. Discover a form of meditation that will transform discomfort and unhappiness into an open heart. And welcome back to Positive Talk. My name is Kevin, and Amy McKiernan is with. I love saying that name. There are some names that I screw up just totally and completely, but McKiernan, I can do that one. Brachelle, what do you think?
I think you're a lot better, and somehow, some way, the ones that we're not good at, the other person is. So it all works out.
There you go.
And Amy, we're going to go through some of the thoughts behind your book. How did you come up with these 8? Was it through your own learning and through coaching and therapy and all of that? Because so many of us don't do all of the things to be able to heal it. And there are people that I know that didn't even know the depth of how difficult it was going to be, and how until an event, and it may have been even a unrelated event to that would trigger them. And then it was bringing everything back up. It's like it happened just yesterday. Rochelle, can you relate?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think that is what's so scary about it is we hear so often, Amy, that well, you can kind of just not care about it. And then it's like, okay, so if I don't have to care about it and I don't have to give it meaning, then I'll just forget about it. That's not really how it works, unfortunately. I found that out the hard way. And it's in things that we don't even recognize, and maybe even our relationships, it spills out the way we treat ourselves. To us, it's normal, but it doesn't mean that it's healthy. And I can tell you, Amy, there is nobody in my life who's come to me and said, hey, I've got 8 steps for you. So please do tell us how you figured these things out before we get into sharing them with each other.
Sure. So, I mean, you're absolutely right. Sexual assault, trauma in general, it impacts our whole person in so many different areas that we don't even realize. And so I am a big believer of therapy. I did therapy for these specific events for a long time. I've revisited therapy. I've discovered through therapy that there were underlying things that I never addressed. So I do think that therapy or a mental health professional support group, something like that, is really vital. And it's not like through therapy, the therapist sat there and said, okay, this is a key that you have to do, right? Like these 8 keys I worked through and I was able to name them when I was writing the book, but I wasn't necessarily like, I'm going to sit down and write about 8 keys. I sat down and I wrote about my journey. And as I was writing about my journey, I was able to name them, right? They were always there, but I didn't really have a name for them. I didn't really identify them as 8 different keys before I was writing the book. And so, through therapy, leaning on a support system, and also choosing to take back my life, choosing to be reflective and identify how deeply this ran in me, and choosing and it took time. Even as I was writing the book, I healed even more, and I found more things that I was like, wow, this is blatantly clear now that this is completely tied to my experiences. And so when you come across something like that, it's choosing to say, okay, now what do I do? Right? How do I take the deep root of this issue, this situation, this tendency that I have, this pattern that I'm seeing in myself, and how do I actually take care of it? Yeah. And that's likely you'll need some outside supports, but you can also be very reflective and take that moment to decide, I'm not allowing this to run my life. I run my life. And in order to do so, I need to make some decisions and changes and make some small steps in a different direction. And so the keys, they're all very practical, very sustainable, very easy. I say easy. I mean, they're not, I understand that we're going to read them like, I can't do that yet. And that's fine. But they're things that anyone can do. I'm not a mental health professional. You don't have to be a mental health professional. You don't have to be a college graduate. You don't have to be, someone who has access to all these different things. These are sustainable steps for anyone. And so they're simple. They're simple when you kind of name them, but then the work is hard and the work takes time. But anyone really can do them.
You don't need a college degree because you have got the experience of life. And these things have happened to you. And before we continue, there's something that I would like to say. And I've started saying this lately whenever we talk about this topic, and I think it's important. Number 1, no means no. No doesn't mean maybe. No doesn't mean maybe I should try harder. No means no. Back off. 1. And 2, if you are a man who is thinking about doing something against the will of another human being, stop it. Get the help that you need, because you need help, whether it's with a child or with a woman or whatever it is, you need to get help. Amy, I think you'll agree with that.
I do agree with that. And I'm a firm believer that healing is for everyone. And so if you are a person who needs help because you are crossing lines and boundaries, or you're, thinking about doing something hurtful, then healing is for you too. And you can get access to the help you need. And I encourage you to do so.
And it may be generational. It may be that your parents or your grandparents or maybe it's 3 or 4 generations deep. But there has to, in order to change society, we have to change it one person at a time. And you can initiate that change. But if you need to get help, please get the help before you hurt another human being, because what's going to happen is that's going to create the trauma that's just going to continue. So you can do it, but please do it, because Amy, the thing is, we talk about sexual abuse and we talk about things like rape and that kind of stuff, but we don't talk about the person who's the perpetrator of that, and nearly enough in my frame of mind, because they're the ones who caused the entire thing. And if they were not there to do that, then you would not have to heal from the trauma that they inflicted upon you. So as I get a little older, I get a little angrier about stuff like that. So,
well, and
I hope
that is very important, though, Kevin, because a lot of times the person doing that has been through that. That's what they've either been taught, that's what they've experienced. So even though they know it's wrong, there's this whatever sort of sense, which, yes, go get help, go talk to somebody. I mean, whether you're the victim or the person that is providing victimhood in other people, you're a victim to yourself at the same time, and you deserve that help too. And this is the perfect time. I wanted to bring this up, Amy, of how we talk about forgiveness, right? And we throw it all over the place. It's like, oh, just forgive for your own well-being. But isn't that just so damn important, more than we realize, for ourselves, and really does not ever mean that you are coming to terms with being okay with what happened, but you're giving yourself to take back the power of knowing that you're stronger than what happened to you, and you do now have control.
I am so glad you said that. So one of my keys is called Claim Your Justice. And it is all about forgiveness and what that really means. Because just like you said, we throw around the term so much, and often people think like, I can't forgive because that makes it okay, or that's me saying that I'm okay with what you did. And it's actually, that's not true, right? Forgiveness is not saying I am okay with what you did. Forgiveness does not mean not setting a boundary. Forgiveness does not mean that person doesn't get consequences, right? It's about releasing the hold that it has on you, right? It's like actually the most powerful thing, because you're saying that me forgiving you means I get to take back my power. I am not living my life run by what you did to me. I'm releasing that. I have control over myself. I can navigate through my life without giving so much power to this thing that happened. And I think that that's so important, because we think that forgiving means so many other things, or forgiving and forgetting, right? It doesn't mean that either. It's having a healthy relationship with your experiences, being able to revisit them and talk about them in a healthy way, being able to look at them and have emotions around them, right? Like it doesn't mean that you're numb and like, oh, I don't care anymore. No, you can feel, you can look at it and be like, that was such a painful time in my life.
Yeah.
But when you're able to reclaim your power and not allow the perpetrators to have power over you anymore, that's what the forgiveness is. Like, I forgive you. I am taking back that power. I'm releasing of you of the hold that you have over me. I want you are now hopefully getting what you need, and accountability is being had, and there are consequences if needed, and boundaries to be made. I am not having a relationship with you. Like, it does not mean that you like are best friends again, right? Like, that's not what it means. And I can't stress that enough. It does not mean, oh, let's go get coffee because I forgave you, right? That's not it. It just means I'm reclaiming my life. You are not running it. And I'm releasing you of that power. And that is just, that's one of the last ones I talk about in my book, because I think it is one of the hardest. And me coming to that realization that I forgave, kind of like really thinking about, that's where I'm at. I'm ready to do that. And it was because I was navigating through life in a way that I wasn't thinking about them. Like, they were not in my mind every day. They were not, I could hear their name and I wasn't being triggered in a way anymore. I could talk about my experiences and just have a conversation because they weren't running me anymore. Yeah. And one of the people who one of my rapists died while I was writing this book. I found out that he died. And in that moment, I didn't really have a reaction. I didn't celebrate it. Yeah. In fact, I felt sad because I learned he had a daughter, and I felt sad for her. I was like, wow, he left a 6-year-old behind. That must be like terrible for that child. But I wasn't like, yes, he deserved it. Like, I just was like, oh, like and it was so jarring to me that I'm like, you would think that I would be like having this really big reaction right now. And I didn't. And that's when I started thinking more deeply about, the reclaiming life and what forgiveness actually means, and the power that it gives you back. So yeah, I'm really glad that you brought that up, because that is actually, one of the keys that I talk about.
Good. I'm glad that you talk about it.
Well, and we need to get into the 8 keys. But before we do that, I just wanted to ask you, because it seems to me that if you are deeply involved in the trauma and you keep remembering it and you're not going to forgive because you're angry, then you keep bringing it up and it just continues. So basically what you're doing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're giving more power to that individual because it's hurting you. Not only that happened whenever it happened, but every day since then. And so if you let it go and just, as Paul McCartney would say, let it be, and move on with your life, then he can no longer hurt you. Is that close?
Yeah, you're right. It's again, it's not forgetting, but it's healing. No. It's overcoming. It's just really powerful, to overcome something, to identify with the strength and the learning that comes with it. And you're right. Like, whoever it is, whoever hurt you, doesn't cross your mind. They don't have power over you anymore. That's the biggest justice of all.
I'm realizing too, wouldn't you agree that you're releasing any blame you ever put on yourself at the same time?
Oh, absolutely. And forgiving yourself too. Yeah. Yes. And that's, a lot of people don't get there, right? A lot of people navigate through life with this blame and this shame. Yeah. And that they're deserving, right? And I talk a lot about like a victimhood and victim mindset, and identifying as a victim, right? When you are looking at yourself that way, because that's what you think you deserve to be, right? Then life, you navigate through life so differently.
Yep.
And
True.
once you can get out of that, you can navigate through life in such a powerful and beautiful way. And that's what I want for anybody who has this kind of trauma or any other kind of trauma.
Yep. It's possible.
It is.
And-
It really is.
Rochelle, her website, the name of the book, and how they can find it, please.
Yes, go to amymckiernan.com. That's McKiernan.com. I don't know why I struggle with that one,
You did
but
great.
I do love it. amymckiernan.com again is where to go. More Than a Survivor is her book. 8 Keys to Overcoming Sexual Assault and Finding a Path to Living a Fulfilled Life. You can also find it on Amazon. And Amy, I'm guessing also like Barnes & Noble, all the places online it's available, right?
Online, yeah. Search online. I self-publish. So if you really like to support independent authors, you can go to Book Baby Bookshop. And that's the self-publishing company that I publish with. And they also sell it. So yeah, online, local bookstore.
Perfect.
And if you are going to a local bookstore, go to a mom and pop, one that's locally here by you, and ask for the name of the book again, Rochelle, is?
The name of the book is More Than a Survivor.
And so you go there, you go to the desk and say, do you have More Than a Survivor? And if they say, oh, well, let me look, and they look and they don't have it, say, well, you know what? I'd like to buy it from you. Why don't you order 10 copies? And then you can put a couple of copies on the shelf, because this is going to be a big deal. It's going to sell like hotcakes, and you can make some money from it. And so would that be okay to do, Amy?
Absolutely.
Or buy it for somebody that you love
Yes.
that isn't ready to talk about these things.
Mhm.
Or buy it and put it on your coffee table, and whoever needs it can pick it up.
Start buying them and just dropping them off at all the local coffee shops. Everybody gets some healing.
Love that.
because that's the thing, is that this affects everybody. And whether it is you, most likely it is, but if it's somebody that you know, somebody that you love, and it is affecting them continually and affecting the decisions they make and what they do in life, that they need, well, they don't need to do anything, but if they choose to, they can heal by getting this book, More Than a Survivor. Amy, you've got 8 keys. Let's go over some of the more important ones.
Yeah. So, the trailer that you played before about meditation, I don't specifically talk about meditation, but it does fall under one of the keys is, taking time for self-care. And self-care, like it sounds a little cliche, everybody's like, oh, self-care, like, okay, but it is so important to pause and reset when you need it and really think about, how are you taking care of yourself, right? And sometimes that might be realizing that you're doing things or you're surrounding yourself with people that are not good for you and making that decision to make a shift. So self-care is huge, and taking time for yourself and just moments to reflect and be with yourself and find peace, because oftentimes when we're so stuck and so in it, in our hurt, it's so hard to connect with those peaceful moments. You might not have that. You might not have that in your environment. So figuring out, how do I fit self-care into life for me? Because that does look different for everybody. Not everyone maybe has moments of peace during the day or the week or whatever it may be. So really reflecting on, how can I fit this in? What do I need to do? So I think, taking time for self-care is a really big one. I already talked about Claim Your Justice. That's another really powerful one.
And Amy, I want to do this. I need to take a quick break because my partner in crime needs a quick break. So let me play this, and we will be right back. More with Amy McKiernan. She's a fine girl, she is. And Michelle, if you want to go to her website, how will you do it?
Yes, go to amymckiernan.com. She's got the book, everything there available. And a way to get in touch with this yourself. So don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back to continue talking about the other steps.
And we'll be back in 2 minutes. That's 2 minutes. Do you want your child to develop lifelong emotional skills as well as academic ones? We teach kids how to read, how to count, how to behave. But what if we taught them how to understand themselves? Abracadabra by Terry Bean is a gentle reminder for children and adults that emotions aren't something to fix. They're something to listen to through imagination instead of instruction. This beautifully written story helps children feel seen, safe, and understood. It builds emotional awareness, self-trust, and the kindness without screens or pressure. Paired with the companion creativity book, reflection becomes expression, and lessons become lasting tools. If you want to nurture emotional confidence, calm, and creativity, this is where it begins. This isn't screen time. This is connection time. This is storytelling with purpose and a sprinkle of magic. Buy Abracadabra today and give a child tools they can carry for a lifetime. Here's another point to ponder by Positive Talk Radio. Look at the world today. We see conflict, poverty, and division driven by the tragic illusion that my people are separate from yours. This belief in separation is the single greatest obstacle to peace. The truth is, humanity is a single global body. When one part of that body, a child in poverty, a family fleeing violence, is in pain, the entire system suffers. We cannot truly be well while our brothers and sisters are wounded. There's no us and them in this body, only us. Our sacred responsibility is to move past labels and see the shared light and common dignity in every single person on earth. Justice, for one, is justice for all. Compassion, for one, is compassion for all. This is the blueprint for global survival. We are one global family. Let empathy be our border, and let love be the only banner we carry. And welcome back to Positive Talk. My name is Kevin, and Michelle is stepped out for just a moment, and she will be back because, you know, Amy, she is so enthralled with this conversation that she really, really wants. She's fighting through, and so that she can be part of it. And so thank you for that. And thank you for writing this very important book.
You're so welcome, and thank you for acknowledging and saying that. That means that's exactly why I did it. So I appreciate that.
It's one of those things, my friend, that first of all, I played the commercial about the "We Are All One," and I just want to reiterate that if you are deciding that you're going to be mean to somebody else, you're actually being mean to yourself. You're not taking care of yourself, and so therefore you are not. You need to stop that. Whatever that takes, stop it. And Amy McKiernan is with us, and we'll go over your information in just a moment again. But the 8 keys, we've touched on one, and you were about to touch on a second one.
Yes. So I won't give all of them away, but I will go over a few.
Nope, that's because you need to go buy the book.
Yes. But one I will say that I talk about, earlier is it's called Avoid the Void and Speak Up. And I wanted to talk about that one, today, because I think that oftentimes we go through these things alone. And I'm sure that there are so many people out there who maybe haven't even told anyone about their experiences, maybe haven't even said it out loud. And giving it language, giving it a voice is so important because you're not alone. I promise you, you're not. And so finding someone to talk to and to tell someone your experience. And I also want to say that it doesn't matter how long ago or how recent it is. This is for you. So if you're someone who's listening, who's like, well, this happened 20 plus years ago. Like, what, that's way gone. It's way past. I can't speak up now. That's not true. And I encourage you to speak up anyway, even if it happened a long time ago, because that is one of the first things you need to do in order to really start a healing journey that you may not have known you needed, you know? And so speaking up, finding a trusted person, and again, it goes back to that support system. It will look different for everyone, and that's okay. If you don't have a supportive family, you can still find a support system outside of that. And I encourage you to do so because everyone deserves a support system. And so maybe if it's just reading my book and finding that support within it, that's fine. But there's support groups out there. It could be a trusted colleague, a friend, a coworker, someone from your church group. So whatever that needs to look like for you, I encourage you to speak up to someone so that you feel less alone. So I talk a lot about that within that key, and it's called Avoid the Void. Speak up.
And
then,
before you leave that point, I just wanted to say this, because there are people that have had trauma and they don't know how to deal with it. So my suggestion is pick up the book. And then my second suggestion is, and you can do this through Meetup, you can do this through Facebook, you can do this through a number of ways. Form your own little group. Invite everybody to read the book, and then you can discuss that and the trauma and the things that have happened to you. And they can be somebody on a group that you get on Facebook and stuff, and different things, but there's a certain exorcism that happens when you talk to other people about it, and you're not holding this deep, dark secret and you're blaming yourself for it, and stuff like that. So I would recommend. Is that a good idea, Amy?
I think so. There's a lot of power in saying it out loud. A lot of power. And you had mentioned earlier too that this book can be helpful for any kind of trauma, really. I've had people read it and tell me, like, I have not experienced sexual abuse, but oh my God, this helped me with this other trauma that I've experienced. And so even if you connect with someone to go through different types of trauma and try to heal together, that's a powerful thing. And saying it out loud, it's impactful.
I just was thinking this would be a great book for somebody who has been bullied for the great deal of their lives, because a lot of it, when you get bullied, a lot of times you blame yourself. It's because I'm not good enough. I'm not the same steps that you go through with any kind of trauma can happen in that respect as well. Do you think that's true?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think we blame ourselves for so much. And so, especially when there's trauma involved. So, yeah.
And I just wanted to say this because this is really helpful to our friends in Kenya, and Samuel has commented in, and I want to bring his comments up. But before I do, I just want to say that he lives in a slum with 1.5 million people. The trauma that these people go through on a day-to-day basis is huge, whether it's just getting enough food or getting enough water or being abused and all of these issues. So Samuel and Brachelle's going to read this because he does this so well.
Thank you for coming. He says, congratulations. Greetings, Brother Kevin, Sister Brachelle, and guest Sister Amy McKiernan, watching and listening to you live from Kabiria slums, Nairobi, Kenya. Thanks for inspirational story. Keep it up. Great work. God bless you. And seriously, yeah, if we were to wake up in the morning, Amy, and be like, God bless me for this day, because it's an everyday thing, right? Like Kevin was saying, it doesn't matter where you are around the world, what you're going through. You wake up with you every single day. Changing that can be maybe a little bit difficult, but is there things that you started to just implement in your mind to remember to tell yourself that helped liquefy the new brain cells to believe you, if that makes sense?
Well, I'll share the mantra that my dad would tell me.
Okay.
When I was going through this, he would say to me, You are not a victim. You are not a survivor. You are an overcomer. Now, to clarify, I was a victim of sexual assault and rape. I did survive those things. He wasn't saying that those pieces weren't true, but what he wanted for me was to identify as the overcomer of it, to not get stuck in that victimhood or not get stuck as I'm just surviving, right? Surviving it's powerful. It's necessary. But when we it does ask bigger questions. What condition are you in? You can be surviving, but you can barely be living, And so you want to not only survive, you want to do more than that. You want to overcome. And so that's the mantra that I, have ingrained in my brain. And he would say it and I would be like, okay, yeah, whatever. But I mean, today, nothing is more true. It's like that another little seed planted. Thanks, Dad. And, it's like, I live it. I live it every day in every area of my life that we can overcome hard things. We can. We don't have to just survive them and just get through. We can truly overcome the hardships of life. And we can define ourselves as strength instead of just defining ourselves as the pain. And I believe that so deep within my bones. And I bring it with me to work. I bring it with me to parenting. I bring it with me to my marriage because it's just so true. And so anyone who knows me knows that I am a big believer in just working through hardships and overcoming hard things and repairing broken pieces in life. And so that's in the back of my head, the mantra that I play and what I tell myself, because I think it's so important.
By the way, I think I like your dad a lot.
Yeah. Awesome, I will say.
We like your dad.
And what's the name of his podcast? So somebody can go check it out.
It's Christian Questions.
Perfect. He sounds like a wonderful father.
He is a wonderful father.
And now he's a wonderful grandfather.
Yes. Sure is.
I tell you, becoming a grandfather is weird because it's like, I'm a grandfather now. That's kind of weird. Anyway, Brichelle, question for Amy, please.
Really, I just want to say thank you for having the courage to stand up and say, this is me. This is my life. And I love that you shared that you were inspired by hearing someone else share their story. And now you are that person. And I think that's really what I want to pull from this message for people today is Amy can do it. I've done it. Kevin's done it. And it doesn't mean it's easy. It doesn't make what happened okay in any way, shape, or form, no matter what it was. And I also want to say, even if it was something that you maybe think is small, Amy, I want to bring this up. And that's where my question is going to come in, because a lot of people will be like, well, it wasn't that bad. It doesn't mean it is not important enough to talk about, to heal through, and for you to not hold yourself accountable for something that was not your fault. That matters. So Amy, I want to give you just a moment to speak on that.
Yeah, I think that that's such an important point because you're absolutely right. It's not about comparing trauma, right? I don't believe in comparing trauma. Somebody who reads my book might read it and say, oh my gosh, mine doesn't even compare. It is not about that. I'm sure my experiences don't even compare to others out there, right? But it's not about that. Just like you said, if it's impacting you, if it's hurt you, if there is a piece of you that feels broken, if you no longer feel whole, it is important. And the keys and the steps, they're relatable in lots of areas of life too. Even just reading through some of them, you could be like, wow, I need to just relate this to this situation I'm having with my coworker at work, to move forward. It's if there is something that is keeping you stuck and you feel empty or lost or just like you cannot move past it, then it is important. And you do have the agency to make a decision in the right direction. And it's all about making small, sustainable choices to pave a new path and to get in that new direction. And it's not easy and it does take time, but you can do it. And it's just one choice at a time.
Very good.
And Amy, I'm pretty sure you'll agree with this. We were all born great.
Yeah.
And we spend most of our lives having people tell us we ain't so great, or having things happen to us that that tell us we ain't so great. And I'm here to tell you, you only get a short time on this planet. So if there are things that are holding you back, trauma that you've experienced, things like that, you don't need to do anything. But if you choose to live your best life, fix it. And one of the best ways I know to fix it is to use somebody else's experience to help yourself. And Amy has gone through it. And so she's come out the other side. And so her book will help you. And Amy, there's somebody in our audience who is tailor-made for this book because they're in the midst of trauma. And you know what's will have happened? They're going to say to themselves, you know, I've been thinking about this all day, and then I hear this show. That's just amazing. And I'm going to tell you, it's not amazing. It's predestined. And because books like yours are destined to help people to get out of where they are so that they can achieve the things in life that they want to achieve and that they are gifted to achieve. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. And that's the goal. Even if it's just a handful of people, I want this book to help anyone and everyone who reads it to get unstuck in some way and to regain power over their narrative and to feel like they have healed in a deeper way. So I appreciate that. And yes, 100% agree with that.
And everybody who has experienced trauma there is a way out, but you need help to get that way out. And if it starts with getting this book and then getting the help that you need, and putting it all together and forming a community of like-minded people that are there that understand your story and everything that goes with it and their trauma as well. Rochelle, isn't that a great way for us to move everybody along in a positive way?
Yeah, it is. Whether it happened in the past, whether it's going on right now, no matter how big or small, when, where, or why, or how, all we have to do is say, hey, I've been through something, I'm hurting, I need help. And Kevin, I think that's the point, because that's when we start to see there's a lot of us who actually care about each other, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
There is. We want to help each other. There's people out there. Me, I'm one of them. If I could heal all the hurt and I could save all of the broken and I could, every single animal right now that feels unloved, if I could just go inside of them and provide peace, like there is people like that on earth and they want to help you and they're doing that work and they're available waiting for you to be ready. But it is your choice.
Absolutely.
And there are more and more of us all the time because we're tired of hate, division, and fear. That doesn't serve anyone. So kindness and love is where it's at. Doesn't cost anything to smile.
Yep.
And by the way, Amy, you have a terrific smile. You've got great energy. And Amy McKiernan has been our guest. And Rochelle, you get to take us out.
Yes, well, I'm so happy I made it through the whole thing. And
I'm impressed as heck, I gotta tell you.
thank you. If you know, you know. But Kevin, thank you as always for making this possible. Amy, thank you for being here, for sharing your story, for being inspired yourself to want to help other people. Because I do believe that you're a person that your cup is always full because you're giving so much all the time, and you know that it is free, and you care, and you have that within you. Your cup will never be empty, and we hope that for you. So first, please, I'd like to promise you to come back. We want to follow you on the journey and see where we're at. I know there's another book in you, even if that's years down the road. And there's so many ways that we could talk more with you. So you'll come back?
I would love to. I really thank you guys.
Well, awesome. I want you to then please give us all the ways we can contact and find your work, your book, all those fun things, any recommendations you have for us. And then just a message on your mind you'd like to leave us with for the show.
Yeah, so you can find me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. I'm on all the platforms. You've mentioned my website a few times, amymckiernan.com. So you can go on there, and I post like upcoming podcasts and things like that. I'm also, if you're interested, if you are at a college or high school or an organization, I've just recently signed on with Campus Outreach Services and Take Back the Night for speaking opportunities. So I'm really excited about that. And so you can find me there if you'd like to book something. And yeah, a message to leave you all with is it's all about choices, small, sustainable choices, and you do have the power over them. And so I just encourage you that if you're feeling stuck and or lost, or you just don't know where to start, to make one small sustainable choice for yourself. Just start there, one choice at a time. You're listening right now. So what will you choose next?
I wish I'd have said that.
I was going to say that because you always say that.
Amy McKiernan, thank you so much for being here. Rochelle, thank you for being a real trooper. I appreciate it. And I hope everybody has a really great rest of the day. Take care of yourselves and thanks. Thank you for being part of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where stories inspire and voices remind us of what truly matters. May today's conversation give you hope, courage, and a reason to keep moving forward. And just remember, till next time, be kind to one another because each other's all we've got.